Iron titanium. Hi! My name is Ida and today I'm going to teach you the basics of how to use GarageBand. So I'm actually going to record a song today and I'm going to take you with me every step of the way. I have two apologies that I need to make before we get into it. And the first one is that my GarageBand is going to be in Norwegian, but I'm going to translate everything. And the second apology is that the audio in this video is going to be not so good because I'm using my proper equipment to record the song, and also because I'm going to record my screen and my laptop will not like it and the fan will go off and everything will be a mush, but hopefully you will understand the message. Okay, so we're going to get into it, and the first thing we're going to do is to open GarageBand. You click GarageBand and then you get this window. And here you have some different choices. I always choose the empty project, but you have some presets here that you can also try and play with. But I will just double click the empty project. And then we get to choose what kind of sound we want to make first. And you can see that we have some different colors. And the blue ones are like real physical sound. The green one is MIDI sound, and that means sound that GarageBand will make for you. You can plug in a MIDI keyboard, like I have on my piano behind me, or you can just use the keys on your computer to play, and you can play whatever and then choose what kind of sound that you want GarageBand to translate those movements into. So those will be green, and then your kind of real physical sound will be blue. And I'm going to choose the blue one, and down here it says my instrument is connected, and my instrument is my external microphone. So I will talk about that in a bit. If you don't have an external microphone, then you will just be using the microphone that is already in your computer. So we will press make this thing happen. Yeah, we're in the project. We get the different sounds in layers. We can start here. This is our library of preset sounds. You also have these controllers here, and this is what you see down here. So you can compress and mix and do whatever you want with the sound. So if I click this, it will disappear, and if I click this, that will disappear. And then I just have my empty project. I like to have them available. And the scissor is the edit thing. So you can choose if you want to have the controllers or the edit up. This is our little window with information. And as you can see, this track is set to 120 BPM, beats per minute, and that's the preset in GarageBand. And then we are also set to C major and 4x4. You can change this if you want to. You can just double click it and you can write 80 instead if that's what you want, or 100. And these violet ones are your countings, so this will be like a count in before you start recording, and this is your clicks or your metronome. So we can listen to it. If I just play my project, you get some clicks. Here we have some loops, and these can be good to use. And as you can see, we get a lot of different instruments, a lot of different genres, and a lot of different types of loops. And the loops can, let's just listen to this. Yeah! You can have a lot of fun by just moving loops around and creating your own project without actually recording anything. I usually use beat loops. I think I maybe forgot to mention the yellow sound when I opened this project, the drums, and that's because I rarely use that. But GarageBand can like play drums for you, and that sound will be yellow, and you can choose when you want to make a new track or new stem, new layer of sound, to choose a drummer. But the way that I usually make drums is to use these looped drums like this. And then I will just drag it into my project, and I will cut it and kind of arrange it the way that I want it to be. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what you need to know before you make some actual sound. So I will just change the tempo here to 140, and I will rename my first track and call it ukulele, just so I won't be confused. When I record in GarageBand, I use an external microphone, and that's this one. It's the Rode NT1-A, I think. Yeah. And it's a decent vocal mic. You can't just plug that into your computer. That would be nice, but you can't. So I'm using this little handy recorder as an interface. I don't actually have a proper interface, but I think this works nicely. An interface is what kind of translates the sound into something that you can put into your computer. And this is the Zoom H4n. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, so we're ready to actually record something. Headphones. That's very important because you want to hear your project in your ear, but you don't want to record everything twice. And also the click sound is going to be in your ear and not in whatever you're recording. So I'll first just do like a test recording so we can see what happens. I'll click the red button and I'm hearing the clicks in my ear. They're really fast. Was this really the tempo I decided on? I think I can do a bit slower, actually. But yeah, here you can see that whatever I just said was recorded into my project. And this is where you adjust the volume for your layer. You also have some other things you can click on. So you can mute a layer if you don't want to hear it. You can isolate it if you want to hear just that layer, and that can be helpful if you have a lot of layers going on. You can press the monitor. Ooh, now I hear myself in my ear. And that's really helpful when you're going to record vocals, but it was really freaky when I was talking. I'm turning it off. And this thing is the pan tool. So the V means left, venstre, and the H means right, høyre in Norwegian. So you can change this and decide where the sound is going to come from, which is quite cool. And if you press the EQ, then you can also adjust what kind of sound you can hear. So these are your frequencies. Basically, your low frequencies will be here, and your higher frequencies will be over here. And I will show you like the basics of how I mix, but the best tips is actually to just record yourself a bunch of times and try and click on all of the different things and see how these controllers will change your voice or your instruments, because it will be different for everybody and everybody has different preferences. I'll just delete this and then I will record my ukulele. Yay! She's perfect! And I also have my library here. And this is voice, you can see that because it's in English. But this one says older, and I started using GarageBand when GarageBand was, you know, another generation of GarageBand. So the older kind of library settings will be in this older folder around. I don't know if that is a part of every GarageBand like pre-setting, but I think you can download it if you want to. And I'm going to try large reverb, which has large reverb, obviously. Let's turn off the clicks. Let's see how that sounds. Not bad. So maybe we can try some of the newer ones just to be like hip and cool. What about natural strum? Yeah, maybe we'll just use that one. And this is the compressor. So what the compressor will do is kind of take your sound and compress it, hence the name. So it will make the kind of parts that are lower in volume be a bit more high in volume, and the parts that are really high in volume be a bit more mushed together. And if you do it too much, it will sound kind of unnatural, but it's nice to do it a little just to make your sound more smooth. This is of course a really simplified version of explaining compressor, but yeah, I hope you got the idea. So let's just see what happens if we turn it all the way here. It sounds more kind of robotic. Then we can go to the EQ. Since I have already chosen a preset, we can see that the EQ is kind of adjusted a bit, but I want to take down the higher parts of the frequency just a little here, and I want to actually raise these lower ones to make it more kind of full, since this is a ukulele, and ukulele is more high in frequency than a guitar, mostly because it's so small. So I want to make it more full in depth in the bottom, and take off a bit at the top. Yeah, just a little bit more reverb. Yeah. And we're good to go. Yay! Ukulele track is finished. So then I will just save that, and then I can make a new layer for my vocals. I will go here where it says track or stem, depending on how you translate this word, and I will press new track. And I will choose another one of these microphone thingies, and it says sound 2, and I will just call it vocal. What I usually do is to go into the older settings, and I choose female basic. It doesn't do that much, but it adds a little bit of compression like naturally, and also some natural reverb. I think it sounds good, but there are a lot of other settings that you can try out. So I would definitely recommend that you try and record yourself and try some different settings and just see what fits your voice. So you can go here and find your instrument if you are using an external mic. Another thing, now that I have 2 layers, you can actually see the difference when I press the different layers. So this is something to pay attention to. I have made this mistake a couple of times. I have marked the wrong layer and then pressed record, and then just recorded over something that I had already done, and that's no fun. I'm going to record my vocals. Normally I would have like made a little pillow fort to climb into to make the sound as nice as possible, and I would have like stood up properly, but I'm just going to sit here and try and sit up straight at least, and do the best with this kind of sound background setting, whatever. I know that I can turn back time, but I would rather push you forward. I know where I'm coming from. I'm adding a bit more compressor, and I am turning down the high frequencies on the EQ. This is, if you have the same microphone as me, you will find that you need to do that maybe a bit more than on other microphones. So I'm turning it down at the top and a bit up at the bottom. I always like to try a couple of times when I'm doing vocals. Normally I will do like 3 takes and then I will just pick the best one. But now that I have adjusted the EQ and the compressor a bit, I will just go and create a new track with the same settings, and I will mute the first one, and then I will record the thing one more time. I know that I can turn back time, but I would rather push you forward. I know where I'm coming from, and I've titanium. Yeah, I think monitor. I think I'll just actually keep that one, except one thing. I said I've instead of I'm at the very end there, so luckily I have my backup track that I will keep muted, and if I find any more kind of mistakes, I'll just move them over. So the next step is to add some background tracks, background vocals. And to do that, I create another layer with the same settings. And what I like to do when I do background vocals is to do like 2 different takes for each background voice, and then pan them to each side, so that I have my main vocal in like the middle of the mix, and I have the background tracks panned out. I know that I can turn back time, but I would rather push it forward. I know where I'm coming from, and what I do when I have recorded these kinds of harmonies is that I cut away the unnecessary parts. And by doing that, I can avoid a lot of background noise, and especially now because I caught quite a few cars driving by and I don't want that. And also I need to cut away these ends, because when I press like stop recording, the little beep is kind of included into the recording. You can remove that in two ways. You can either just put your marker where you want to cut all of these layers and you mark them. You can see what I did. I just made like a square and I dragged it up, so I marked all of them. And then I press Command T, and now just the cut out part is marked, so I can just backspace and delete all of those in one go. If I want to just remove one of the layers, I can do dragging away the very last part so I don't get the click. This is nothing, so this I can delete. You can also drag multiple layers if you mark all of them. So that is quite handy. I also need to tidy up a bit so that it doesn't look so messy. And what I like to do is to rename them. So these are the same. Just makes it easier to see. And let's find a place where all of them are singing together. And I am titanium. And when all is said, it's like this kind of massive wall of sound, and that is not necessarily what I want. Oh, we're in monitor mode. I want the main vocal to be in focus, and that's this one, just to be even more clear. Sometimes I just do this. Main vocal. Yeah. So there's no doubt. So this needs to be in the center, and this is panned to the top, so that's fine, but I will just raise the volume just a little. And then I will start adjusting these harmony layers. And the first one is the lightest one, or highest in pitch. So usually I use more volume when I sing higher notes, so this can go like to the middle of the volume. I will fine adjust this later, but you get like an idea of what I usually do. And this was the most unnecessary one, so this can also go down quite a bit, because this is just like the super dark voice, and it's just going, you're not like supposed to actually hear it, it will just like be a part of everything. And this can also go down a bit. And then we have the panning. So what I like to do is to take the darkest voices to the farthest back, and the lightest voices will be just at the side, and then this can be like in the middle. So that is like a very basic way of sorting out all of your vocals. And if you're an instrumentalist and not like primarily a vocalist like me, then these instruments might be completely different, but you can do a lot of the same things even if it isn't vocals. You can do this with all of your synths and whatnot. Let's just listen to it now. I make it home, all the words, all the lies you believe, I don't mind, I will seek. Yeah, I think that will be good, but of course now I'm just listening on the built-in speakers on my laptop. I had a break, and by break I mean work, but we're back. So now I'm going to change that one word that I did wrong in my vocal track. So we can listen to it. Here we are. So I'm going to go into that layer, and then I'm going to click the scissor so that I can see my sound and edit it. And I've so we're going to replace the and I've with the and I'm. Oh yeah, and it seems like oops, it seems like these two layers are quite similar when it comes to volume. So we can go from the other side as well and see. Titanium. So, yep. So I think these are actually going to be quite smooth to change, but we just cut out this part that we want to replace the other part with, and I mark it and I press Command T, and now we have this little part marked, and I can move that in two different ways. I can either just hold it and grab it and move it down, but if it's not like completely on the beat, that can be hard because maybe I move around too much and stuff. So the easiest way to do it is to just press Command C and then mark this layer and press Command V. And now it should be fine. And I can isolate this layer so that I can hear it properly and know that it sounds good. Let's take it from this part. Yeah, as you can hear, this first transition is not so smooth because I breathe, and you can hear kind of a little like like I catch my breath twice. So we're going to fix that, and I think we're going to fix that by just taking hold of this part and dragging it as far as we can. Let's try now. Yeah, that's smoother, so we'll keep it like that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to add a MIDI track. And the way we do that is that we either go to track or stem and add a new one, but we can also just press the plus button. And we want to choose the green one. Here we are, and it's set to piano at first, but we don't want piano. I'm going to find some kind of synth sound, and let's see. To find another sound, we make sure that the layer is marked, and it's set to classic electric piano, we can see in the library. If we go down here, we can move back. So we're going to choose a synthesizer, and I want a soundscape. That's always nice. And to actually hear these sounds, we need to play something, so we're going to find our keyboard, and to find that we go to window. Yeah, and we can choose show keyboard or show music keys. And if we press this one, then we will get like a picture of a keyboard. And if we press this, which is also the shortcut Command K, we will get these laptop keys. It's always nice, but I want something lighter and more like bubbly. No. That! No! Woo. We're going back to our older collection. All of these sounds are terrible. I don't have time for this. I have a meeting in 10 minutes. Cosmic reflection. Are we just going to do cosmic reflection? Yes. We'll do cosmic reflection. I'm going to turn the volume way down. So because this is MIDI, green sounds, not real, they're not like real physical sounds. We can record without using a headset thing. Why am I forgetting this? But yeah, we can record just without any head things. We need a click. It sounds terrible. I hate it. Yeah, I don't like it. So we're going to go back, synth, and we're going to choose a bell synth. I always do this, so it's no surprise. Yeah, this is nice. I'm doing this. So now I have my 4 chords in MIDI, and I'm actually just going to copy paste this because it's MIDI, so it doesn't really matter how I play it, it's just computer sounds. And I can just mark this, Command C, and just paste it in as much as I want. It's here. Yeah, I think it sounds good actually. So the bell synths are my best friends. And I don't actually want any beats or anything like that for this track, but if I wanted, I would have done a new track, and I would have chosen a blue one, and I showed you how you could find the loops, and I would go into instrument and all drums. Yeah. Yeah, and I could choose this for instance, and then I would just drag it into that empty track, and I could go in here and find the pieces that I like. I actually just like the start, the beginning. So I would cut it here, just delete all of this. So I would just like copy this and kind of paste it around wherever I want to use it. Yeah, that's not actually that bad, so maybe I'll keep it. We'll have to see in the finished version of the song. I want to mention that you can also play MIDI drums. As you saw when I chose the synth bell, I could also have chosen drums. I usually find electronic drum sets, and I play some drum sounds that I like. So that's also something that you can do. I like to make a more like original beat and not just use these loops, but you can do that if you want to. Or you can cut them, and you can also use like different kinds of loops and find like one drum sounds that you like from this loop and one from the other, and just like mix it up. I think that's really fun. So yeah, I'll see if I add some beats to this, but I don't really think I need it. That's it. My battery is dying and I have to go to a meeting, so I have to end this video, but I really hope that it was helpful. And if you have any questions, just ask them in the comments. Remember to subscribe for more videos, and let me know what you thought of this, and if you want any more videos kind of in this style. Make sure to check out the actual song and the process of writing it. And that's it. I hope you'll have a really nice rest of your day, and I will see you very soon. You believe I don't mind, I will seek when you hide, and I am titanium. And when all is said and done, I know that I can turn back time, but I would rather put